Hey, welcome everybody. It's Michelle in the clarity room, trying to gain some clarity in what's happening in this full moon in Aries. And so I kind of wanted to go over in some bigger detail on the energetics according to astrology and human design. And then obviously you'll be able to apply that into your own world and see how things might be, what might be going on for yourself. Okay. So the first place I want to start in is actually the idea of that we've hit into Libra season. And I think that's important to understand. I think it's something that we don't always talk about, but whatever season we're in, it's an energetic space for everyone to be in. It's kind of like the seasons, right? We have to know that we're in summer and that in summer, we are not necessarily planting anything, nor are we harvesting anything. We're kind of in that in between waiting place. Okay, so Libra season, what is it? So Libra season is always represented by the scales of justice. And it is about harmony and it's about relationships and understanding how it is that we can all get along and understanding the difference between the status quo of me in relationships because we cannot live, most of us cannot live alone, most of us have other people that we're interacting with, and that's what Libras love. They're very friendly, they can be very playful, very talkative, and they're people who really want to understand the differences, like who am I without this person and who am I with this person. And so it kind of can become like a tipping point. I'm here and then I'm there, so we're constantly adjusting. Work and play, good and evil, whatever it is you want, abundant, non-abundant, all those type of things. Libras can take a look at your relationships with all things. So I want to start off by saying that. And then the second part that I want to share with you is how it's hitting in human design. And I'm getting to the full moon. Trust me, it's coming. So what's being activated right now for everybody on the planet? And if you're in my free texting service, you know this already. Is we've got gate 18 right now. These are all the transits. I'm not talking about all of them. I'm really talking about where the sun is hitting during this full moon in Libra season. So the full moon is in Aries, but it's happening in Libra season, and we have gate 18. So gate 18 has an eye for improvement. You see patterns of things. So if you have this gate in your design already, it means you're kind of gonna have a double whammy. You're gonna start to see things possibly different. Listen, there's gonna be some dogs barking. I can't help that anymore. I've tried pausing and restarting. It's just gonna happen. Okay. So it's this ability to have to be able to see patterns of things and to know how to fix them. So when you are in that phase with gate 18, that is what I would call the intuitive side of self. You're going to be able to sense also like when somebody is acting in integrity with this gate. Integrity is a big component of this gate. And you also are going to be the person that may not really care about positions of people. And I think that's big to say just because of the Pluto on Pluto conjunct that's happening just in the United States, because Pluto is the one that will take a deep dive, death, transformation, and rebirth. And it doesn't care who or what's in the way. If it's not acting in integrity, it's going to be taken out. And we've already been seeing this energy go on for a few years now. I mean, quite a few years, just when Pluto entered Capricorn. And we started seeing these things of like the top down, because Capricorn represents top down power, empowerment. And so what's happening is that we've seen a lot of things break apart, things that have been secretive, like cults and human trafficking and all the ugly, icky stuff has been bubbling up to the surface for all of us to take a look at because it's not acting in integrity. So you've got that gate going active right now for all of us. It's that gate of integrity, and it can see these patterns and it knows how to make corrections in patterns. But here's the key with it. Gate 18 itself doesn't necessarily, because it's in the spleen center, and in human design, the spleen center is what directs our fight or flight response. It is the place where we're either in fear or we're in our intuition, and there's nothing in between. That's key to know. There's nothing in between. So you're either in, yep, I can see how to correct things. I can see this is integrity for myself. I'm acting in integrity. Other people are acting in integrity. And when they're not, and when I'm not, I'm out of alignment. I'm out of balance, like Libra. I'm out of balance of myself. And so I need to move forward in a different direction in order to empower myself and everyone around me, because I am about love, right? because that's what Libra is all about. It's about that love energy. So we've got all of that going on during this full moon in Aries. The fear that comes behind it, because like I said, that's the intuitive part of gate 18, but the fear of gate 18 is the fear of authority. It's questioning authority. It's saying, hey, are you operating in integrity? How is it that we can make this better? So it's a win-win for everyone. And what happens is when we're sitting in fear, we have a tendency to blurt out things instead of waiting for the perfect timing, because integrity means you know your entire environment, you know who's around you, you know what your employees are doing, and you know when to say things and not. And sometimes when we see patterns that need to be shifted, right, because that's your gift, you can see what needs to be shifted, you just have a sense of knowing in all of this. um and it's a very logical part of the brain too. This gate 18 is a part of the logic circuit, and so it's easy for you to understand what could be changed and to try this and to try that. But what happens is when we are all ticked off, whenever we get triggered and this energy is present, we can kind of be snappy, we can kind of blurt out crap. and and words are stingy. Words can be very stingy, and you've got that full moon energy in Aries, and Aries can be stingy too. Aries wants to move into action really freaking quickly, and it wants to, which is awesome. We need that. All signs are great, and all signs have things they need to work on, but in its worst format, and Aries will just kind of come in like a bull in a china shop and just do and say whatever it needs. So we have that potential right now during this new moon to say nasty things to ourselves, to say, I told you, you shouldn't have done that, Michelle. And or we can say it to other people. So the key with this is doing it with integrity, which means asking. If it's about someone else, someone you're working for, someone within your business, someone in your personal life, you need to ask, hey, I see something. Can I share it with you? And if they say no, you have to respect that. Not always easy. But in particular, what I would say is that also understanding that when you play more in your own integrity of what you're saying to yourself, and trusting when you're seeing an eye for improvement, like within your business or personal life, to take action on it. Because the full moon in Aries is going to, a full moon is always about what were your intentions in the last new moon. And we're always trying to work towards those intentions or those manifestations. And the full moon gives light to things that need improvement, things that need to be shifted and changed, and not worrying and also questioning the authority. Are you being of integrity with your employees or your friends? Are you acting to yourself? Are you almost like pushing yourself to your own level of integrity? Because here's what's happening on the planet. We are in a space in which integrity for everything matters, and things and people and places and situations and companies and monetary values of things, including banking systems and loans and all of that stuff is going to be is being widely looked at. Typically in October is when stock market usually has some big changes. So now let me get to the astrology chart, because we're going to get a little bit more into astrology. This is just for the United States. This is our chart. And so the green in this chart represents the transits. This is what we're talking about. The stuff inside is actually our birthday. So understanding that the moon is going to be at, well, God, what degree is it? 6 degrees in Aries tomorrow, Friday, when this comes up. And I'm doing this at the last minute. I apologize. Um, and so what happens is it's going to be a full moon, means they're directly across from each other. So the moon will be at 6 degrees, like right here. And the sun will also be in 6 degrees, and they'll be across from each other, which creates the full moon. Okay. If I said new moon, I apologize. I mean full moon in Aries right here. So Aries is in the fourth house here in the United States, which indicates about nurturing. It indicates, home, ancestries, mothers, fathers, people who nurture us and give to us. And so that means we're going to have an opportunity to kind of see what is in balance. Who are we nurturing, and is it in balance to the rest of the world? To, like, are we going to start to find almost more equality for people so that everyone can have the nurturing and the love and the financial support that they need, because we've got Pluto coming out. We've got Pluto's return happening in the United States. Kind of very cool. We've already been feeling the energy of this, trust me. Because we have orbs, transit orbs of 3 degrees. If you know astrology, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, just ignore that. But what it means is that right now, during that full moon, we're almost like directly on top of it, which means that things that are not of value anymore, and we're going to be questioning our values, because this is because of some of the squares we've got going on in all of the earth signs. We've got Pluto, we've got Uranus, and we've got Mercury all sitting in earth signs, which means what can we ground in that's new? We're going to be looking at values of things right now. What do we value as a country? What do we value? Is it monetary things? Is it people's health? And we have the potential right now, because we're all working through all this while we're in Leo season. And, Leo is about what it loves. And it's a very grounded type of energy, as in tipping the scales and wanting to make sure everybody has what it needs. And then you've got Pluto, which is in Capricorn right here, which means that it's dealing with top down structures, people who have a majority of the wealth, people who have majority of power. Like, all of this is going to be relooked at again. And then we have got both Jupiter and Uranus, and Uranus is a big one. Uranus has got more conjunctions going on with it. And I'm not going to go through all the conjunctions with you. I'm going to give you a quick summary right now. So it's in the value of Taurus, which is about what we value. It is about finances, but it also can be about agriculture. So I think that there's a lot of astrologers and human design people who are talking about the aspect of, like, we're probably going to be starting to set some new standards about what freedom looks like for all of us, um, what food looks like for all of us, and we're going to be grounding in some new elements about finances, um, and everyone's seeking their own freedom, which is why I believe that human design is one of those beautiful attributes that we've been given. We've been given this information at this time for a specific purpose, and the purpose is, how do we know what we want when we don't really truly understand ourselves? All of us on the planet have been raised as generators or manifesting generators. You're both considered generators. If you're a true purist when it comes to human design, we call them all generators. I separate the two. um Anyways, we have this massive shifting that's been going on for a while. So it's nothing to be unnerved about. But what we do have the potential of doing within this full moon is, let me pop out of this real quick. What we do have the potential to do in this beautiful full moon is to be able to release anything, of course, because that's what it is about, releasing the things that are not of integrity to ourselves anymore. Being able to work on our physicality, being able to work on that beautiful energy of ambition and your entrepreneurial spirit. And that's why I do believe, and a lot of statistics are showing, a lot of us are going to be starting our own loved based businesses, because we're no longer willing to do what other people want us to do if we're not happy in it. And so, what we need to pivot our attention to is, after we've done the releasing, during your meditations during this week, right? Because the energy lasts longer than this moment, is to give ourselves the potential to anchor in higher level of intuitive abilities, the way we're thinking, our possibilities, our manifestations. All of those things have potential to being, I swear to God, every time I go to record something, every dog gets walked. Dogs that I'm taking care of right now start to bark. So I apologize again if you're hearing a ton of barking going on. Oh, you gotta love life, right? Okay. So we have this potential. I'm sorry, I'm trying to look at my notes because I had something written down that I really wanted to share with y'all. There's a lot here. Okay. So it's this idea that we've got this energy of going to higher levels with our intuition, getting out of our 3D mind, and understanding that we're all starting to anchor in this new way of living in society. So if you're doing a job just for the money, if you're in a relationship just for the safety, if you're in if you have a belief system that has kept you small, Those are all the things that could possibly pop out during this full moon that you're going to see it. And you're like, loop, I have not been acting in integrity and things. And this is for all of us. There isn't a person on the planet that isn't working on something, right? It's been interesting because even for myself in the last couple days, I've had some interesting stuff bubble up that I've had to get really clear and really honest with myself. And honesty is not always the most comfortable place to be in, but as everyone says, and I truly believe and live it, is honesty is the best policy, including for myself. So taking that energy with this new moon in Aries and giving yourself an opportunity to just ask the question, where is it that I'm living in integrity? Sorry. Where is it that I'm living in integrity? And celebrate that, right? Because there are places that we are imbalanced, right? There just is. I know that all of us have these things, and it could be just that I'm in balance with, like, I finally got myself into a meditation practice where I'm, I am constantly doing my walking in the morning, whatever it is. You need to celebrate those things. We always start with celebrations. That elevates us. And then we have to say, is there anywhere in my life? And a lot of the times it will show up if you happen to know what house this is happening in. So let me show you what I mean by that, because a lot of people have questions when I say this, which is understandable. Okay. So when you're looking at your own chart, your own astrology chart, you want to find where Aries is, and this is the sign of Aries. Aries is happening 6 degrees. These are about 5 minute markers. This is on astro.com. You can get a free chart on Astro. And then you're going to want to make sure you hit with transits. This says without because I have them on there. So you're going to want to hit with transits. That's important. Find out what it is. And then you look at what house it's happening in. You have to have your exact birth time and all this. So, like I said, for the United States, it's happening in the fourth house, which is all about nurturing and family and ancestry, your home, all of those things. So that's where this new moon is happening for everybody. But look at your own specific chart of what house it's happening in. I will include a download that talks about the houses for everybody so you can take a look at that for yourself also. So, anyways, I think that's a pretty good summary of what is happening. I feel like we've got some beautiful trines that are also happening that can bring down some really unique and original ideas. That is one thing I did want to say during this full moon that you may have. It's our Mercury. Our Mercury is trine to Uranus. So where's Mercury? Mercury is right here, and it's trining Uranus right now during this full moon, which means brilliant ideas. Uranus is connected to everything. It's the divine. You can call it galactic. You can call it, you know, beings from other places, whatever you want to go, guides, angels, whatever you want to call it. But there is this potential during this time that you may receive some downloads or ideas or inspiration, whatever you call them. And they could be next level, high level thinking. And it's interesting because I finally got myself into the car. I used to drive a lot in my many years ago when I was a social worker. I used to drive a lot. I used to love it because that's where I would get my best ideas, my solutions, because my brain was occupied with something. And a lot of people talk about the showers. So wherever it is that you are chopping vegetables and all of a sudden that's your best place, spend some time during this full moon being in wherever it is that your brain is occupied and you receive your insights or your downloads, because we have the potential some really brilliant out of the box ideas so that everyone does or we're starting to see more balance in who has what, who has control, who has all the money, who has all the sources of food, and that there's a balance in it so everybody can feel that safety and security, because those are the things that we all fear. We fear, where's our next check coming from? Where is it that how am I going to feed my family? Where's my next job? And we need to get to a point, and we're working on it planetarily, to anchoring more love into the planet. So when you do your meditations, anchor it on the love that everyone finds that safety and security. Figure out what integrity it is that you need to be working through. Be gentle, be kind with yourself. And for goodness sakes, if you see an eye for improvement in anything in your life, first ask, can I share something with you? And then let the magic unfold. All right, you guys, if you like this, make sure you sign up, and hopefully I will see you in the next moon cycle, because we got eclipse season coming. Blessings.